The summer has come to an end here in Munich, but there's no need to be sad because MERLIC 5.6 is here to boost your mood. And with this catchy phrase, I would like to welcome you all to today's release webinar. As always, it is my pleasure to guide you through the webinar. My name is Marcus and I'm part of MVTec's marketing team. Before we start, I have some organizational information to share with you. First of all, we do a little Q&A session after the webinar. Therefore, simply write your questions in the GoToWebinar chat. Also, a few days after the webinar, you will receive a follow-up mailing. In this mailing, you find a recording and, of course, the handout. Last but not least, we share the survey with you, and we would like to encourage you to take part in that survey to make sure we can optimize our products for you. All right, that's it for the beginning. Let's start to talk about the topics, but I'm not here to talk about the topics. Our experts are here to talk about the topics. So please welcome on stage our dream team, Ulf and Yin.
Hi, Marcus. How are you?
I'm very well, because today's the release webinar. I hope you feel well as well.
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
Perfect. You do?
Yeah.
What's your favorite feature?
I don't want to spoil it, but we prepare something new for this feature.
Okay, then I will sit back and relax. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus. My name is Ulf, and I'm product manager for MERLIC.
And my name is Yin. I'm working as an application engineer at customer services department.
And before we start with the new features, I have a special advice for you. Yin, could you please?
Yeah, of course. I will share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Yin. So the MERLIC documentation describes all components of MERLIC in detail. In order to make this information available for all users, especially about the current version, we have decided to put the documentation online. This means that MERLIC does not have to be installed first to access the documentation, for instance, especially about the new features. In addition, the documentation can also be used on other devices, such as tablets or smartphones or an additional PC. You can easily access the MERLIC documentation in German, English, Japanese and Chinese 24/7 all around the world with this URL, merlic.help.
Thank you very much, Wolf, for your advice. I think it will be very useful for our customers. But now let's have a look at the new features, okay?
Yes, right. So here's an overview of what we plan to do in this webinar. We will start with the 4 new main features, and then we will switch to all the other improvements. And in the end, as Marcus already mentioned, we have a short Q&A session. So let's start with the REST plugin. We have extended this functionality. With a new image transfer capability, you can control and monitor production processes from any browser-enabled device. Here's a short recap. REST is available since MERLIC 5.4. This plugin enables the communication of different devices over HTTP. MERLIC provides a built-in web application that offers an interactive overview of the state machine and the results. So, okay, Yin, please show us some technical insights how we extended this feature.
Of course, I'm very glad to do that. So there are many use cases which can be beneficial from the feature if the user wants to visualize images, such as anomaly detection. Is sometimes very interesting to get anomalous regions or the heat map. So with this feature, it's easy to integrate images from MERLIC directly into HTML websites. It enables users to control and monitor production processes. That means for customers that the customers can integrate images from the provided REST API directly into their applications. Furthermore, customers can also use this API to integrate the process into their own programming environments. For example, C#, C++, or Python. We also released an HTML example to describe how to use this feature step by step. Now, I will invite a special guest from our customer services department. She prepared a video for you to show some practical parts. So now let's start the video and welcome Anita.
Hi, I'm Anita. Let me show you how you can serve images using the REST plugin in MERLIC 5.6. For this, I prepared an application and I'm now going to share my screen with you. You can see this is a very simple application. Firstly, we acquire images and then using deep learning, we detect anomalies in the global context. How to use deep learning to detect anomalies in the global context is not the focus of this demonstration. However, if you want to learn more about it, please consult the MERLIC documentation. Now, the focus of this demonstration is how to serve images using the REST plugin. Remember the keyword images because in order to do so, we need to define an image as an MVApp result. Now, in this tool, you have as a result the displayed image, which is actually the image that you see here. To add it to MVApp results, right-click on the arrow next to it and click on Add to MVApp results. Let's name it Anomaly Image. The data type is image and click on Add. Now let's check this in the MVApp Parameters and Results tab. We can see that our result appears in the MVApp result table. Now, because we want to use this application in the runtime as we said with the REST plugin, we need to define a recipe. For this, click on Save Recipe, choose the place and the name for your recipe and click on Save. Then save the recipe and that's it. Now let's prepare our application for the runtime. Open the Runtime Environment Setup and go to the Recipes tab. Now you might already be familiar with this workflow, but we want to import a recipe into the Recipes tab. Let's select the recipe we just saved and set it as default. We want to set it as default because when we start MERLIC RTE, the recipe will automatically be prepared. Now let's go to the Communication tab and start MERLIC Communicator. MERLIC Communicator has started and we already added the REST plugin. We are not changing any configurations, so these are the default configurations. Let's start the plugin. Now we want to remember the address at which the built-in web interface is working at. So I selected the text and copied it. Now the last step is to start the MERLIC RTE. To do this, go to the Image Sources tab, close the MERLIC Creator, and now from here you can start MERLIC RTE. In a few seconds, the MERLIC frontend will also be started, and we can go to the next step. So we see now the MERLIC frontend is started. Let's open a browser and give the address to the REST server. And now we see the state machine of our system. Until now, there was nothing new in the presentation. Let's do a few single executions to see our application is working and go to the API docs. Now the API documentations are also not new in this MERLIC version. You can actually consult them in previous MERLIC versions as well. But what is new is when we go to the results category, we see we can now get image results for PNG images or for JPEG images. These methods can be used in your application when you are building your own REST client to display images from your MERLIC application. Let's try getting an image result for PNG. The very nice feature about the API documentation is that you can actually try each method out by clicking on Try it out under the method. Now let's say that we want to get the result ID 1, so the first image result that we get from the first execution. and data index is 0, we only have one image defined as result in this recipe, so this has the index 0. Let's click on execute, and we see, as a result, we get the image corresponding to the first execution of our application. Now, this is only one example of how you can use the REST methods in order to get images from your MERLIC application in your REST client. Additionally, with this new feature, we also provided a new example of a REST client. For this, open the MERLIC installation path, go to Examples, REST plugin clients, Web, and then Result Images. Open the web application, where you can see all of the image results from your application. Now let's do a few single executions to see how our application works, and switch back to the REST image endpoint example, and here you can see that the images results are automatically updated. And this is one example of how you can serve images using the REST plugin in MERLIC 5.6.
Let's share my screen again. I hope you can see my screen again. And what I want to say in this context, I would like to point out the new extended image storage. As I already know, we can save our results in the RAM by setting up an in-memory database. With the new feature of extended image storage, you now have the possibility to save your images on disk in the process integration mode. This significantly extends the storage capacity for saving images, depending on the disk's storage. For example, in manufacturing, to detect anomalies in products, you can save not OK images, and analyzing these not OK images helps you to trace issues back to the machine. And problematic components of the machine might lead to defective products. By resolving these machine issues, you can boost the production of high-quality products.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Anita. The next new feature is image source parameter sets, and this is an extension to the MERLIC image source management. It's a valuable feature for every MERLIC user because you can store individual settings for each image source. This new function was created as part of our work on the acquisition sequences feature. When do you need acquisition parameters? I think this is a good question for Hin.
Yeah, I can answer this question. For example, to achieve an image with high dynamic range, we require images with different exposure times. With acquisition sequences, you can very easily accomplish this. Another example would be photometric stereo. By using controllable non-streaming devices, you can set different lighting conditions, and this allows us to capture images under different illuminations to achieve photometric stereo. Let's have a look at the technical video regarding this feature. Hello everyone, I'm Xin. I'm very happy to be here to show you a new feature of MERLIC 5.6, image source parameterization. In this video, we will show you the several parts. In the first part, we will show you how to connect the camera with MERLIC and capture a live image. And maybe we can also achieve a simple application. In the second part, we will show you how to set the image source parameters for your application. Assume you have two applications with this setup. For the first application, you set a suitable exposure time to capture a good image. But for your second application with the setup, the previous exposure time is too high, which means your object might be overexposed. In this case, you need a second exposure time, a low exposure time. So the question is how to set up everything simply. We will answer you this question in the second part. In the third part, we prepared two applications with two image source parameters, and we will show you how to integrate everything in the MERLIC runtime mode. Now, let's share my screen and see what happens. Here, I have already started MERLIC, and let's connect the camera and MERLIC. We can open image source configuration by clicking here or clicking here. Now you see an empty configuration, and we can add a new configuration, give it a name, for example, MERLIC Webinar 5.6. Create configuration, activate it, and we can also activate the slide bar. Then this configuration is automatically activated when MERLIC RTE is started. So now let's add this image source to MERLIC by clicking New Image Source here. Give it a name, image, and find the device. Create image source. Start live image. And now we have connected a camera with MERLIC, and we can get live images. It's quite simple, isn't it? So now let's do a simple application to read the barcode. If we put it here, and let's check if the current exposure time is good enough for visualize this barcode. I think that's okay. Let's save the parameter set, and we can also save it as an parameter, and later we can add it into the recipe. Image source param. Save. And here you can see the active sequence is read barcode image source param. And default sequence is base sequence. And we can also click here to set this sequence as a default sequence. Now let's run it once, and we can capture an image of the barcode. And now let's find a tool, read barcode, and put it in a tool flow. The barcode is not read. What happens? I think the reason is the bar of the barcode should be black, but in this image is white. So we need another tool to invert the gray values. Invert gray values. And let's make it cleaner. Disconnect this tool. So now you can see the code can be read. And here is the decoded data. And we can also save the MVTec parameters and results in a recipe. For example, we need this parameter, add to MVTec parameters. The data type should be, let's say, real. And decoded data is also very interesting for me. Add to MVTec results. Word. And here we can save the recipe. At first, let's save the MVTec. And live example. and the recipe file. And if you see here, if you can remember the previous MERLIC version, you cannot select the acquisition sequence. But in this version, 5.6, you can select the acquisition sequence read barcode image source parameter to select this exposure time. And now the runtime mode is set up. In the second part, we will focus on the image source parameters, and you will have a clear observation what happens for different image parameters. So if you see here, the current active sequence is read barcode image source parameter, and we can also set other different exposure times. For example, we make an overexposure. Let's put the object here. And save as bright. And if we set it bright, this file will be saved separately. And we put an exposure time lower. We click here, save as dark. And this parameter set will also be saved separately. So we have now 3 parameter sets: bright, dark, read barcode, image source parameters. And now let's go to the selected sequences again, and we can see the active sequence is dark. So if we start it once, you see the exposure time is very low. And if we select bright, run it once, the exposure time is high, and we get an overexposed image. In this part, we will show you 2 applications. The first one is the read barcode from this triangle, and the second one is to read text and numbers of this sheet metal. Due to the reflection of this material, it requires low exposure time to capture a suitable image. And to show you the 2 applications, we prepared something for you. We create an MV app, read barcode, and MV app, read text and numbers. And for each MV app, we create the corresponding recipe files. So let's open MERLIC again. So the first step, let's start MERLIC RTE. And we can see a front end. In the communication, we prepared a REST plugin. If you remember REST plugin from the previous MERLIC webinar, it provides a web building interface to visualize the MERLIC state machine. And with the MERLIC state machine, you can control MERLIC with different applications that you build up. To use this plugin, you only need to copy the IP address and port number into a web browser. So now you can see the state machine. And let's put the front end here. If we click ready, we can see the 2 recipes that we prepared. And the first recipe, read barcode. Start single execution. So now you can see the barcode is read. Here is the decoded information. And if I click continuous execution, and you can see here is a live image. And if we put this sheet metal here, and it's overexposed with the current exposure time. Therefore, we prepared another recipe with another exposure time. Now, the second application is loaded, and let's adjust the window size and start single execution. So now we can see the sheet metal and the text and numbers are red, and here are the results. So this is the second application, and in this video, we showed you a new feature of MERLIC 5.6, image source parameters, and now we can set the image source parameters into the recipe, and we can set it very simply in a GUI. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Yin. Very nice video.
Thank you very much, Ulf. So let's continue another feature. Let's share my screen again.
Okay, so Yin, do you remember the release webinar of MERLIC 5.4 when we showed the new acquisition sequences feature? We got a question from one of our customers. Do you have a photometric stereo tool in MERLIC? And we carefully listened to this feedback, and now we can provide it as a concept tool as the first step.
Yes, I remember, and I have to say photometric stereo is a very interesting and useful technology.
Right. So with a new search function in the tool library, the feature can be found very quickly in the concept tool section. Photometric stereo is beneficial for a lot of applications. Here are some examples. You can use photometric stereo to achieve robust results in surface inspection, 3D defect detection, and OCR. Please tell us the technical advantages of this method, Yin.
Sure. And one of the key advantages of photometric stereo is to reconstruct the relative height information and surface information. Photometric stereo can operate in both calibrated and uncalibrated modes, offering flexibility depending on the available data and also the customer requirements. Acquisition sequences make it possible to apply photometric stereo simply on the production line. Last but not least, we provide an example to demonstrate how photometric stereo can be applied to achieve prices and detailed relative height reconstructions. To test this feature, our colleagues have developed a nice setup, which we will show you in our next video.
Hello and welcome. My name is Benedikt, and I'm going to show you how you can use the new feature Photometric Stereo in MERLIC. Photometric stereo is a technique in computer vision that helps us to obtain detailed information about the surface of objects. This is done by taking multiple images under different lighting conditions. In this method, we use several light sources, each coming from a different angle. By analyzing how the surface reflects the light, we can derive the surface normals. This allows us to reconstruct the object shape and texture. Photometric stereo is particularly effective for capturing very fine surface details. Therefore, it can be used to detect scratches, dents, or deformations, for example, in PCB or battery inspection. Let's talk about the necessary hardware setup. We need at least 3 light sources. In our case, we are using 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We also need a camera. And all of this has to be arranged in a way so that the light sources illuminate the field of view. We are additionally using a LIMEC controller to trigger the lights as we take images of the target object. With these images, we can then perform photometric stereo in MERLIC. We prepared here an example MV app. And at the core of this app is the new tool Reconstruct Surface with Photometric Stereo. As you can see on the right side, as always, you can find
information about how to use the tool in the Quick Tool info. The tool requires at least 3 images of the object to be inspected as input. The images must be taken with at least 3 different light sources. In this example, as you just saw, we are using 4 images corresponding to our 4 light sources. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In addition, the spatial relations between the light sources and the camera must be known and specified. This is done with the tool input parameters slant and tilt. Slant is the angle between the optical axis of the camera and the direction of illumination. Tilt is the angle within the object plane or any plane that is parallel to it. We estimated the parameters of our setup in advance: tilt values and the slant values. It is also possible to use the tool in uncalibrated mode. This does not require specification of the tilt and slant values, but we recommend to use the calibrated mode for optimal results. We also have to set up image acquisition. We can do this using the Image Source Manager. In this example, we use an acquisition sequence to capture 4 images, with 1 light source being active in each image. Once we have specified the tilt and slant values and configured the image acquisition, we can run the MV app. We recorded images beforehand because the lighting conditions in here are not optimal for photometric stereo. As you can see, 4 images are taken, each with a different light source being active. Once the images are acquired, they are forwarded to the photometric stereo tool. Together with the tilt and slant values, the tool computes the output images. As output, we receive the albedo image, the filtered image, and the height field. The albedo image returns the albedo factor of the surface. The albedo is a characteristic of the surface and describes the ratio of reflected radiation to incident radiation. The filtered image is a vector field calculated from the gradient image. And the height field is an image in which pixel value corresponds to a relative height. As you can see, the scratch is clearly visible in the output images. You can now use these images for further image processing steps. That's it. The new feature Photometric Stereo in MERLIC. And remember, this is a concept tool. Feedback is always welcome. We are looking forward to your opinions on the tool.
Okay, thank you, Benedikt. So we can see the slides again. Our young colleague Benedikt has prepared this video for us. He is also working in our customer service department, and he also conducts training sessions on our software, MERLIC, Helken, and the deep learning tool. If you are interested in training sessions, please let us know. The next main feature is the support of Siemens SIMATIC S7 protocol with a specially created Communicator plugin. Yin, please give us more details.
Sure. So in your process integration system, a PLC calls a method of the vision system, and in this case, MERLIC. MERLIC does a job and sends a result back. Now I will introduce you the configuration of S7 plugin in MERLIC. The configuration of S7 is done in the TI portal. For the PLC to correctly communicate with the SIMATIC S7 plugin, the permit access with put and get communication from remote partner should be activated. Once the connection details have been set on the PLC side, for example, IP address, the same settings need to be set in the plugin configuration in the Ethernet connection details section. The rack and slot number of the PLC can be found in the device configuration in the TI portal. We provide different result handling behaviors. The first one is the free running mode, allowing vision systems to continuously process images and get actual results immediately. For example, high-speed detecting defects of your products on a conveyor belt. Free running modes has advantages if continuous real-time processing is important. The second one is day queue mode. Day queue mode is used for managing continuous data streams. The queue mode is more for handle applications that first one prefer to have the processing result independent from the result queue. The second one, you want to trigger multiple jobs and retrieve the results all at once. Besides, other advantages with day queue mode is that the clocking is controlled by the PLC. After configuration, you can achieve your application's start vision job and get result, switch recipes.
Okay, thank you, Hien. Those were the 4 new main features of MERLIC 5.6, but there's more to come. At this point, we'd like to direct you back to our survey. Please help us make MERLIC even better. We look forward to your feedback on the new features. So let us now explore the other innovations of MERLIC 5.6. Concept tools give us the opportunity to integrate new functions and test them together with our customers to see whether they work in practice. Thanks to your help, we have now been able to finalize 3 helpful tools and are now making them officially available. You can now find the following 3 tools in the tool library under the section Processing: Count with Deep Learning, Recognize Color, and Segment Image Pixel Precisely. They have been revised, extended, and improved according to user feedback we received. And you can now use the tools with full documentation and integrate them into your productive workflows. Deep learning and artificial intelligence are now part of our daily lives. And of course, these technologies are extremely important for making machine vision even better, faster, and more efficient. And this is why we are constantly working on further developing and improving the functions included in our software. Can you give us more information, Hien?
Of course. So the first one I want to introduce you is with MERLIC 5.6, you are able to define processing regions and focus your processing in the count with deep learning tool. It can reduce the processing time tremendously. And the next, you can also exclude unwanted objects. In this brick disk, there are circles with different radius. You can tell the model in training you just want to count the smaller ones. Semantic image pixel precisely supposed to restrict the processing region as well. In this way, the user does not need to evaluate the whole image for some use cases, which can also reduce the processing time significantly. We also improve the tool read text and numbers with deep learning. You can define multiple ROIs, region of interest, on your image where the content should be read. As you can see in the example, on the right-hand side, just the first word and expiration date are read. We also implemented instance segmentation into the MERLIC tool. You can access this parameter in the tool Find Objects. If you activate instance segmentation, you can not only find objects, but also differentiate fore and background of the bounding boxes. This is very useful in applications where objects are close to each other, or touch, or overlap. As usual, we provide an example for that, so that you can get familiar with this tool and the new parameter. The next optimization was created in close cooperation with one of our customers. He looked for a way to open deep learning models much faster. Therefore, the models now can be optimized on a specific hardware like Intel OpenVINO or NVIDIA TensorRT in the deep learning tool beforehand. And these models can now be opened in MERLIC directly. This reduced the loading time, and speed is very important for our customers.
Yes, speed is a good keyword. Because we are almost at the end of today's session, and we don't want to withhold another new feature from you. MERLIC 5.6 introduces a new method that not only reads 2D data codes, but also evaluates their print quality, an essential feature for the production industry. Our colleague Anita has created a video about this feature. As we ran out of time, we cannot show you this video in this webinar. We will make it available on our homepage, and I will also share it on LinkedIn, so please follow me there.
And we also provide an example for this feature. In this example, we show the print quality inspection according to the industrial standard.
Okay, thank you, Yin. Unfortunately, the time for presenting the new features is already over. There are a number of other features that we will not show you today. Take the opportunity and download the new version. The download will be available soon, I promise. And here are my final messages for today. Your feedback counts. Please use the feedback button in MERLIC if you notice something is missing or if you have an idea for a new feature. Meet us at events and fairs, take part in our survey, and help is around the corner. The MERLIC manual is online now at merlic.help, and our customer service is available for your questions. Check out our MVTec Academy for the latest courses and trainings, and follow me on LinkedIn for exciting news and interesting offers.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation and also these great videos. I just checked the back end of our software and I saw that you guys have a lot of questions. So I would just suggest we make a quick stop. We check your questions, find the answers, and then we are back in a minute. What do you think?
Cool.
Let's
do
that.
that.
All right. All right, welcome back. We just checked your questions and we don't want to lose time, so we start right away. You guys are ready?
Yes,
Perfect.
of course.
So first of all, a question about Siemens S7. We're currently working with tier version 18. Do you also support this version?
Yes, we support the version tier 18, and if you have older projects, just contact our customer service and we will help you to manage that. We will support 18 and newer versions.
All right, perfect. The extended image storage is the next topic. How big is the storage and how long are those images stored? This looks like a question for you.
It's a technical question. I can answer it. Well, it depends on the disk. For example, if you have a 500 gigabit, you can save all these images until your disk is full. And the next question is, how long are those images stored? The images are stored on your disk, so they can only be deleted if you delete it manually. But please attention, if you start your RTE once again, the images will be deleted. So if you want to save your images, please save it somewhere safely and restart the MERLIC RTE.
We will do it. Thank you. The next question. Which hardware setup do you recommend? What devices do I need to get started with Photometric Stereo? It's about Photometric Stereo. Here also something which seems like a question for you.
You need a lightning controller. In this video, we use one from Limark. However, the devices from other manufacturers which support standards such as GigaVision, GeniCam, or USB 3 Vision, we all support that. All
right. And the last one, how to accelerate Photometric Stereo. So it's a good follow-up question.
It's also technical questions. So you have two possibilities to accelerate your processing time of Photometric Stereo. The first one is you can use calibrated mode, which delivers a faster and robust results. The second one is you can reduce your image size or crop your image. This works always.
All right, this works always is the perfect sentence to end this webinar. We managed all the questions. If you guys have more questions, please feel free to contact us anytime. We are happy to answer them, or you are happy to answer them, right? Perfect. That's it from our webinar of today. Thank you very much for your interest and for being here. As I told you in the beginning, you will receive a follow-up mailing with the recording and the handout, and we are looking forward to get in touch with you. So guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your presenting skills. And also thanks to Benedikt and Danita for these great videos. It was really, really nice to see. That's it from us. Then guys, I wish you a good day, and also everybody at home have a good day, and thank you very much for your interest. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.